Women are panicking as men refuse to date or marry them. So I made a video discussing what's happening right now where very young women are actually beginning to freeze their eggs because men are refusing to date or marry them. Let's go ahead and listen to a bit of the video, and then we're going to be reading a comment that actually comes from a doctor regarding this.
Looking at infertility, many women now opting to freeze their eggs. Rebecca Jarvis back with that story. Hey, Rebecca.
Hi, George. Guys, infertility is so common here. And among married women with no prior births, about 1 in 5 are unable to get pregnant after a year of trying. It can be desperate and it can be lonely as a struggle. But now a growing number of women are freezing their eggs, hoping it's a kind of insurance policy.
I am about to take my first set of shots, and I am so nervous.
Natalie Bailey, an engineer from Texas, is about to start her weeks-long journey to freeze her eggs.
These are all the shots I have to take.
The process can take anywhere from about 2 to 3 weeks with multiple hormone injections a day.
It's an ultrasound.
Combined with doctor's appointments every other day leading up to the retrieval.
I'm pushing 40. I wasn't sure if I wanted to fully close the door on having children.
The number of women freezing their eggs has increased more than 150% over the last 5 years. Out-of-pocket costs average about $15,000 to over $20,000, which includes the cost of the egg freezing process, medications, and annual storage. Meantime, a recent study found only 2.5% to 3% of women who freeze their eggs return to use them.
It feels a little bit like we are telling women that they must do this because they are absolutely going to have infertility. That's not fair, but infertility is increasing. People are putting off their family building for longer. For a lot of people, the peace of mind is worth it.
31% of companies are offering fertility support. And Natalie says her company's support was crucial. After 16 days, she was ready for her egg retrieval at Aspire Houston Fertility Institute.
This is to monitor your heart. Okay.
The outpatient procedure takes about 30 minutes.
21.
Once retrieved, the eggs go through a process to safely store them, which we got to see at a different clinic, unrelated to Natalie's journey. Spring Fertility in New York, using donated immature eggs. The eggs are skillfully moved through different solutions to prepare them to be cryopreserved.
There's 3 eggs there,
Where they can last for years, stored in liquid nitrogen. For warming, the process is reversed, which can determine if some eggs were compromised. The attrition could look like this. 20 eggs are preserved, 17 survive, 13 successfully fertilized, 7 become embryos, 3 are viable after genetic testing, and 1 implants for a successful pregnancy. Natalie was happy to learn 25 eggs were retrieved during her procedure.
I'm very happy I was able to do this, and at least I know I have a backup if I decide to have a child later on in life.
Now, guys, I want to show you a comment from a doctor who basically commented on my last video where I discussed this. And he says, doctor here, I'm just stating facts as I remember them. Freezing eggs doesn't protect them 100% from DNA damage. The act of freezing itself can cause damage to the genetic material. Even if the eggs are viable, if the womb is not, then it's still futile. Even if the slim chance that both the egg and the womb are able, the body of an older woman will still take severe burden. Females are not designed to carry children way past 30. And of course, there's already a response from Roger Spice. Thanks, doctor. I've warned you guys about the power of the Manosphere. What's happening here? And they can't shut down the Manosphere. Men are comparing notes. Men are comparing notes right now. Women and society, the state, because women are agents of the state, they are essentially destroying the lives of other women. These women and men and some men involved, there's a lot of men involved, are destroying the lives of these women, telling them that they should be going out and freezing their eggs. These companies that are paying for the process are robbing these women of their lives. They're like, oh yeah, we'll pay $16,000, $20,000 for this procedure so that you will put off motherhood, you'll put off having children. So, because when women have children, it costs the companies tons of money. They're not doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. When a woman decides that she's going to start a family, it has a severe impact on the company. There's a maternity leave. How much money does it cost for maternity leave? It can be anywhere from tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars that it'll cost the company just shelling out support. And keep in mind, a company can have an employee that makes $30,000 a year, but how much is that company worth to the employee? That employee could actually be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to the employer. And that's usually the case. That's usually the case where, as an employee, you are worth anywhere from 10 times to 100 times what your actual compensation is from that company. So when you have a woman that is for example, she is not, she takes time off to go and have children, they're not just losing the compensation. They're not just having to spend money on compensating her when she's not at work. Oh no, it's much worse than that. They're losing hundreds of thousands, sometimes even millions of dollars, especially if it's a senior person at the company, as a result of her not being there to do that job. So they're saying, okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll spend this money and give you a false sense of security, give you a false sense of security to go ahead and freeze your eggs, and then you're going to give us the rest of your life. You're going to give us your 20s and your 30s, and sometimes even some of your 40s, while you believe that, oh, the eggs are there, and these eggs, because you froze them when you were younger, now they're going to be more viable. And as you can see, regardless of as you can see from what this doctor said, even if a woman freezes the eggs when she's younger, it still doesn't change the fact that her womb may not be able to support those eggs. It's pretty insane. Even if he said number two, even if the eggs are viable, if the womb is not, then it's still futile. Okay? Women are not designed to carry children way past 30. But of course, modern women don't care. Women don't care, and the state doesn't care. And of course, these companies are only going to take advantage of them. And they're giving them a false sense of security into believing that by freezing their eggs, they're going to gain more time when they're absolutely not. And they're like, oh, well, when women freeze their eggs at this age, their chances of having a child of these, increases from 38% to a whopping 50%. Keep in mind, the chances of having a child is already substantially very, very low. Is already very, very low when you're in your 30s or even your 40s. And there are women saying things like, oh, I know someone who had a child when she was 45 years old. Girl, I know someone who had a child at 50. And then there are other women saying things like, we don't want men who are in their 40s. We don't want 40-year-old sperm. 40-year-old, literally, I've seen these comments. We don't want 40-year-old sperm. It's not good. Like, guys, these women are so deep in their masculine. They are so deep in their masculine that they've completely lost touch with reality, their own biology. These are women that don't even understand the concept of pH and pH balance. This is the reason why they'll struggle with things like terrible feminine odor. I mean, you look at the whole BBL situation right now, where a lot of them can't even wash these BBLs that they're getting, so they're walking around with fecal matter in their bottoms because they can't wash. And there's no way you can tell me that they don't smell that, because everyone smells it, but they just don't care. They just don't care. Like, they can't even take. Women are at a point where, in modern society, they can't even take care of themselves at a very basic level. Like, they need an adult to take care of them at this point, and they're just being exploited because that's what all of this so-called freedom has done for them. And they think that the government is daddy, and daddy's going to rescue them and bail them out. They don't realize the government is just using them. We don't live in a republic. We don't live in a democracy. We live under a federal corporation. And when I went to business school, guys, I have a crazy degree from an expensive business school. Hasn't done crap for me. But if there was one thing I learned in business school, a company, a corporation does not have a soul. This is something we were taught in business school. A corporation does not have a soul. NYU Langone does not have a soul. NYU Langone is one of the biggest medical medical corporations, medical um, systems in the entire world. I mean, it's wealthy, crazy wealthy. Like literally, like you can step into one of their facilities, some of their facilities, and it looks like it's made of gold, and it's actually made of marble. Like you'll walk around on marble floors. Like they're rich, like they're rich as hell, and you have to understand they're all about that dollar. They're all about that paper. They do not care about you. They do not have a soul. I don't care how nice and fancy their commercials are of their doctors like mending a teddy bear. They had like a commercial, I think it was NYU Langone, had like a commercial of them like doctors fixing a teddy bear. Like, bro, these are evil people. Evil people. They don't care about your health. They care about your money. All right? They're trying to get that paper. Guys, don't forget that I have another channel called Angry where I discuss gaming, anime, geek stuff, nerd stuff, real world stuff, and whatever else interests me. You can find a link to that channel in the description of the video. Go check that out, subscribe, support my work. There's some amazing stuff over there. And also, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, you can check out my Men Walking Away channel, where you'll find more content like this on that channel. So if you want even more of my content, you can go over there, subscribe to that channel, and find more of my content there. There's a link to that channel and my Angry channel also in the description. So check those channels out, subscribe, support my work. Guys, you know, I've said this before that the power of the manosphere is significant. You know, the moment that I bring up a certain subject, if I talk about blue collar work, there's a bunch of blue collar guys that will jump in the comments immediately. If I talk about plumbing, there's a bunch of plumbers that will jump in the comments immediately. If I talk about if I talk about sanitation work, there's a bunch of sanitation workers that will jump in the comments immediately. All right. I'm just it's insanity. It is insanity. If I start talking about India, there's an Indian man who will immediately jump in the comments. It doesn't matter. Brazil, immediately in the comments. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Men from all around the world are checking in. They are checking in immediately, and they are comparing notes, and they are sharing information, because this is what women hated. Women don't want men to communicate amongst themselves. That's one of the big reasons why they're going after gaming right now. You know, they're trying to F to the B to the I. They're basically going after the gaming community, monitoring gamers on there because of radicalism. When in reality, they don't want men communicating amongst themselves. They want men demoralized. They want men, because men are the only ones that can stand up to the state. So they want to silence us, and they want to torture us, and they want to intimidate us. Because I've said this before, we don't own anything. You know, we're only allowed to keep some of what we work for. You know, what is that called? That's called slavery. That's called slavery. Slavery never actually ended. It simply expanded. And the power of the manosphere is that every cat and dog is here. Every single cat and dog is in the manosphere, and everyone's trading notes. Everyone is trading notes. Everyone's saying, okay, this. Okay, I have some notes over here. Oh, I have this knowledge over here. It only takes a few moments. It only took a few moments before I posted it, after posting this video for this doctor this is not the first doctor. I have tons of doctors on this channel. I have tons of doctors constantly popping up on the channel. Tons of doctors on this channel. All right? That should be a warning, an absolute warning about the current state of things. I mean, I say that I have tons of doctors, and I didn't even think of Mayumi, but she's Mayumi. But I mean, that's just to kind of give you an example of how terrible of how serious the manosphere is at this point. You know, you have every cat and dog here, and men. It doesn't matter, from all walks of life. Men are trading notes. You know, women view men as just utilities. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how hard you've worked in life. Women only view you as a utility. A girl who works at McDonald's or is an or on low or that sells her soul on Only Fools and Lonely Fans thinks that she is better than a man who has spent years working in the military, defending the country, or that went to law school, or is a master electrician, or a, I'm just giving you examples. These, the most basic Betty thinks that she is better than every man on the face of the earth. It doesn't matter what you've done as a man. It doesn't matter what you achieve. It doesn't even matter how much money you have. She will always feel that she is better than you. All right. The woman who doesn't even go to the gym, doesn't work out, doesn't take care of herself, she says that she is a 10, and she is better than a man that is 6 feet tall, works out, has multiple degrees, has a net worth over $1 million, is a millionaire, all of these things. That girl will say that she is a 10, and all the women around her will also say that she is a 10, and she is better than you. The homeless woman, the woman who is living in a storm drain, thinks that she is better than the highest value man. Like, I have videos of these 304s basically saying they will make Elon Musk submit to them. Like, this is the reality. You have these crazy people, women who are now they're putting trillionaire gang in their bio, calling billionaires broke boys. Nah, get out of here. Get out of here. I want to hear your opinions on this, guys. I want to hear what you think regarding this, because I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But as you can see, women are panicking as men refuse to date or marry them. So now they're rushing to freeze their eggs, thinking that this is going to save them and allow them to either find some simp to marry them or give them enough time to become single mothers in the future. Oh, God help us. But I say God help us, but thankfully most of them will fail at, getting pregnant through this method, when only, as the video said, only around 2 to 3% of women even come back to try to retrieve the eggs and use the eggs. And then from that 2 to 3%, the number of women who are successful in actually using those eggs to get pregnant is significantly even lower. Let me know what you guys think about everything we discussed in the video, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video, and just remember that all roads lead to MWAM and walking away. And cheers.